The wedding feast was unlike anything Cana had seen in years. It was a grand affair, filled with laughter, music, and the clinking of wine cups as guests mingled under the starry sky. The tables were laden with food, the air thick with spices, and joy floated around like the soft glow of the lamps. But as the night wore on, a whisper started circulating among the servants. The wine was running out. A worried murmur spread. Running out of wine at a wedding was more than embarrassing. It was a social disaster. People would remember it, talk about it, cast judgment. The faces of the host family grew pale, their anxious glances betraying their helplessness. Among the guests was Mary, the mother of Jesus. Her eyes caught the troubled faces around her. She understood the consequences, the weight of such a situation on this family's reputation. Discreetly, she found her son, Jesus, who was sitting quietly among his friends, and leaned in close. "They have no more wine," she told him, her voice low yet urgent. Jesus looked at her, seemingly reluctant. "Dear woman, why do you involve me? My time has not yet come," he replied softly. But Mary didn't waver. She looked at him with eyes full of faith, then turned to the servants nearby. "Do whatever he tells you," she instructed them. It wasn't a demand or a plea, it was trust. Trust in what she knew her son could do. Jesus took a breath, then stood up and walked over to 6 large stone jars used for ceremonial washing, each holding about 20 to 30 gallons. "Fill the jars with water," he instructed the servants. They glanced at each other, a bit confused, but they did as they were told, pouring water into each jar until they brimmed to the top. Then Jesus said, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." One of the servants, still unsure of what he was about to do, scooped up some of the liquid and headed over to the master. As the master tasted it, his eyes widened in surprise and delight. He called out to the bridegroom, his voice echoing above the sounds of the celebration. "Everyone brings out the choice wine first and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." The crowd went silent for a moment, and then a cheer erupted. Cups were lifted, laughter filled the air once more, and the host family's relief was palpable. Wine flowed again, better than any they'd had that night, and joy returned to the celebration. The servants exchanged glances, realizing they'd just witnessed something extraordinary. Mary's quiet faith had moved her son to act. Her concern for the family had prompted her to step in, and in that moment, a miracle took place. In today's world, we might find ourselves in situations where it seems we've run out, whether it's hope, resources, or joy. We may face challenges that seem impossible to resolve on our own. And sometimes, when we least expect it, help arrives unsolicited, just as Mary stepped in at the wedding in Cana. Miracles often happen quietly, unexpectedly, and sometimes through people who care enough to intervene. Just as the wedding guests received joy and abundance that night, we too can find that same joy restored in our lives, sometimes even when we haven't asked for it. We only need to have faith, stay open, and trust that solutions, even miraculous ones, may come when we least expect them, turning our water into wine and our sorrow into celebration. This is the promise of Cana, that help may come without us even asking, and that, in the hands of God, even the ordinary can become extraordinary, leaving us transformed with a joy that knows no end.